want to chat at any time, feel free to unmute yourself. So first of all, Amanda and Kelly's here. Look at that. Look at all these people. Whoop, whoop. Making their first calls. So a few kind of updates of what's going on. Jessica posted in the team page today, but we've been noticing a lot lately, a lot of posts where you're basically giving away all the information. And the reason why we say kind of, leave a little bit, well, curiosity marketing is what we call it. If you're telling them the exact program you're doing and everything that, goes along with it, essentially they don't need you as a coach. So they're going to go research it. They're going to go buy it on their own because they think that you cost more. And so you want to give them something to reach out to you for. And it's even for the people that are just watching, say they don't buy it, but they're not going to have any reason to reach out to you, and then the conversation never opens. So when you're posting about whatever workout or whatever you're doing, just kind of be choosy with the way you kind of word it and leave something to their imagination. We wanted to do a team call on going Emerald because when we have a lot of new coaches, it's really your first milestone in the business. And it doesn't have to be as hard or as scary as a lot of people make it. So I did, let me screen share. Do a PowerPoint. Can you guys see my screen? Yes. Okay. Perfect. So going green, Emerald's really your first, and I'm going to try to keep this to 20 to 30 minutes. That way you guys can, get back to your families and jump on Brittany's call. But going green, so Emerald is your first rank advancement. It's the first thing that you want to do as a coach. So we're just going to kind of go over what Emerald means, how to achieve it. And I tried to gear this call towards our new coaches and some of you guys that have been around for a while. So that at the end, I do kind of get into volume just a little bit, but because I want you to see kind of where this is taking you. It's not really just, just focusing on Emerald now. It's, kind of opening it up for your future as a coach. So first, what is an Emerald coach? So I know for some of you, you're probably thinking, I just signed up and I don't have any customers, so don't even come at me with some coaches. But Emerald coach just means you have 2 personally sponsored coaches beneath you. So if you were to log into your downline, and this is kind of, if you're taking notes, something you can do when you get off the call. If you log into your downline and you go to monitor my business and then graphical genealogy, you may already see coaches kind of popping up underneath you. That's because your upline is helping you build your legs. But you, in order to be an Emerald coach, you personally have to sponsor 2 coaches. So you're at the top of your pyramid, and then you have 1 on your right and 1 on your left. And it's also important that you know that you have to have 1 on each side. So it has to be on each side of your legs. And then as an Emerald coach, you also need to have 50 personal volume points. Now, we're not getting a lot into volume. That literally, 4 years into this, I still learn something about volume every day. And that can be a complete call on its own. But essentially, if you're drinking Shakeology, which hopefully all of you are, your shake is worth 90 personal volume points. So if you're ordering Shakeology every month, you're going to hit your 90 personal volume points. Now, I do realize sometimes you get a bundle of it and maybe you want to postpone it or whatever, which is fine. You can postpone it at any time. You just need to make sure that, I'm going to mute everyone again. You just want to make sure that you have enough personal volume there to stay active. And we're going to kind of get into why you want to stay active as a coach too in a second.
Hey, Jody.
Yeah.
So help me out here. So do you have to be Emerald to get carryover volume?
Girl, slow your roll. I'm getting into that.
Well, I was going to tell everybody before, even the seasoned people on here that are not Emerald, that's been with us for a while, it might be beneficial if you're looking on your computer right now while she's doing this to go see if you have carryover volume, because then she can break down how much money you have sitting out there.
Yeah, we have an example of that coming. But yeah, so it's not going to be there if you're not Emerald, because it doesn't start collecting until you're an Emerald. But here's a few reasons on why you want to become an Emerald coach. The first reason is that you're going to start qualifying for team cycle bonuses. The picture here that you see, Emerald payout is $14 a cycle. Ruby is 16, and then Diamond is 18. And I know those numbers, oh, sorry, I was trying to click the chat button. I know those numbers don't sound super awesome. Personally sponsored. So, okay, Brittany already answered it. Good. Brittany, you stay on top of the chat box. That's your job. Okay, so I know that those numbers, when you see 14, 16, 18, you're thinking, that's not really that much money. I'm going to get into examples of all of this as we go through it, but it really does build on each other. So your first thing as an Emerald coach, you're going to start earning $14 per cycle bonus. Another thing, you start getting eligible for customer leads. You are eligible for Success Club leads. And that's when what Jessica was just talking about, that's when you start accumulating carryover volume. So I'll break all those down in just a second. But just some other things I threw in there just to, pinpoint. When you're an Emerald coach, that's really when Beachbody starts recognizing you as a coach. Several of you probably signed up as a discount coach because to Beachbody, they don't care whether you're a coach or a customer. They're either paying your coach 25% commission or you're saving 25%. So they are making their cut regardless. So it doesn't matter to them. So as an Emerald coach, that's when Beachbody's like, okay, this coach is signing coaches and they're doing something. So that's when you start getting recognition. That's when you start qualifying for trip dollars to go on the Success Club trips, prizes, and that kind of thing. So the first benefit to becoming an Emerald coach is team cycle bonuses. So like I'd mentioned in the beginning, you're only going to ever have two legs, just like your body. You're going to have a right side and a left side. So essentially, you are the top person of your pyramid. And every time, so LV is your left volume and RV is your right volume. So every time that you get 200 points on one side and 100 points on the other, you're going to cycle one time, and that's where you're going to make that $14. So because we're just saying you're an Emerald coach for now. But the cool thing about this is that you're not just getting the volume from the people you've signed up. Everything in Beachbody has volume attached to it. So if you have a shake order, that's worth 90 points. So just imagine me at the top of this pyramid for now, just for this one example. And say my husband's on the left and someone else is on the right. If my husband orders Shakeology, his 90 volume points are going to sit there until I get enough to get that 200 and 100, and I'm going to pay out one time. Cycling, there's a really cool video from corporate where he uses these little action figures and goes over it all. So I don't want to get too deep into that, but it's not just your active coaches. So you have to have two personally sponsored coaches to become Emerald, but then you start benefiting from every single person's volume in your downline. So again, like I mentioned before, if you were to log into your office, and this is one of the things I want you guys to do after the call, log into your office and go to your graphical genealogy and see if there are people there. If there are coaches beneath you now that you didn't sign up, maybe it's from your upline, and they're falling beneath you, then their volume is just getting wiped away every week because you're not collecting that carryover volume yet. So, and I have one example of carryover, which we'll get to in just a second. So anyway, for this one, just the one thing you need to know is that it's 200 and 100 on each side. And it doesn't matter what side it comes from. It could be 200 on your right or 200 on your left, whichever side has the most is where it's going to pull the 200 from. And that's when you'll cycle one time. So the reason I put teamwork makes the dream work is because, again, you're making money off of people that you do not even know. When I log into my downline now, on my strong side, which is the side that Jessica helps me build, that's also the same side that Jessica's upline is on. So when Jessica's coach assigns a coach, I may not even have any idea who those people are, but they fall in my downline and I get volume from them. And I do break it down, and I screenshotted some of my numbers on here for you guys in a second to see. But we've had a lot of talk in our coach page here recently, and Jessica and I have crunched numbers, and we've tried looking at it, multiple ways. So if you sign somebody as a customer, you're going to make 25% commission. If you sign them as a coach, you're going to make you'll make commission off their initial order. Then it's going to start that whole volume thing. So really, if you're kind of weighing which is better, if you're signing them as a customer, you'll make retail commission, but it's only one time, meaning when they order. So yeah, every single time they order, you're going to make commission. But you also have to remember, most people only order once a month. They mostly only order their shake or whatever. And team cycle bonuses are continuous because there are people constantly getting added to your downline that you don't even know, and that volume's constantly accruing as it just sits there and builds. So, and another thing, and I'm not getting way into this, but you're going to have to go up in rank if you really want to see your income expand and start growing, because the higher up in rank you get and the more CVCs and your business really explodes, you have to increase in rank, because there's also caps at every rank. So as an Emerald coach, you cap out at $250 for team cycle bonus, because they think, okay, this coach is doing something enough that they're making a lot in team cycle bonuses. Like for example, Ford's a coach underneath me, and he comes close to capping out sometimes. So if he makes more than $250, and here you can see my check off to the side. If where it says team cycle bonus, like say my team, this is my legit check from last week, 5.9. If I would have only been basing this off of my retail commission, which is my customers, I had negative $32 because I had a shake return. So had I not built my team and started growing those team cycle bonuses, I would have owed Beachbody $32 last week, owed them. So you can just kind of get a glimpse of where customer versus coach, it's going to work. It's going to end up in the long run paying out that you're signing them as coaches. So here you can see my team cycle bonus last week was $324. This was just in my first business center. If I would have been an Emerald rank, I would have given away, I would have capped out at $250. So they would have taken away that extra $174, whatever that equals out to be, because I would have capped out. So Emerald's your first rank, but you're going to keep going up from there. Okay, one of the other things that I mentioned, why you want to become an Emerald. When you become an Emerald, that's when you start qualifying for the LEAD program. And we have two types of leads. We have customer leads and we have Success Club leads. So period, point blank, to qualify for the LEAD program, you have to be an Emerald coach, and you have to be like current with your business service fees. That's like the main rule. But for customer leads, that's where you have to be an Emerald or higher. And when you start achieving Success Club, again, that's when Beachbody's like, okay, hey, this person's doing something. Let's kind of give them some incentive. So you start getting customers that just go to the website and order. So say someone orders off of an infomercial, or they saw some coach that gave all the goodies away and they knew exactly what they wanted to order, and they went to the website and they ordered. Everybody in Beachbody has a coach. Everybody, no matter what. They either know the coach and they sign up with them, or they go to the website and they get randomly assigned. So if you're constantly hitting Success Club, Beachbody recognizes you and they start giving you those free leads. Customer leads, you don't make commission off their initial order, but if every time they order after that, you do. Success Club leads, you make commission off of everything that they get. So I chose this picture to put up here because I wanted you guys to see how much leads matter. Danielle Buffy and Celia were both, this was a picture we took last year at Summit. They were both leads for me. Danielle lives in Indiana, Celia's from Canada. I would never, ever in a million years have known them had Beachbody not brought them into my life. So one, they're both now, I mean, not even just my coaches, like they're my friends, legit friends. But from this one picture of our team last year at Summit, you can see the impact that had. Dan would not be a part of our team if Buffy wasn't a lead, because Dan is underneath Buffy and Sean and Celia and Susie. So you can just see the impact that it can have, where those Success Club leads really start to make an impact. And then the other reason we talked about becoming an Emerald coach is because carryover volume, like Jessica said. So, and this is going to be one of my call to actions to you, so don't worry about doing it now, and I'll post it in the team page after the call. But carryover volume, so like I mentioned, PV, everything in Beachbody has volume attached to it. Typically, it's about the same dollar amount. So, like say something costs $50, it's going to be roughly 50 PV. So when you become Emerald, you'll start seeing that collect. Here, and again, it's not just your coaches and it's not just your volume, it's every single body in your downline. So this was a screenshot. I had Danielle Buffy send me this today. This is hers. You can see 516. This was her cycles from this week. So you can see this is all of her volume. On her left side, now her left side is her strong side because that's the side that I help her build. So she's got 97,000 rollover points on that side. So you think, okay, whatever, it's just sitting there. So you can see on her right, she's only got 55. So she's not able to cycle again because there's not 100 points on that side. So, and her and I have talked, her next step is to start working on her right side. But I kind of broke this down for you guys because I wanted you to see. 97,000 points sitting there is 488 cycles. And the way I determined that, I just divided it by 200 because assuming that's the strong side. So 488 cycles times 14, just because you're an emerald, is $6,832 just sitting there, waiting on her to cycle. So team cycle bonuses matter. Carryover volume really freaking matters. And the one thing with this I wanted to also mention is that you can never discount a discount. I started as a discount coach. Brittany Hines started as a discount coach. Shelly was a discount coach. Buffy was a discount coach. Almost every single coach in my downline started as a discount coach. Danielle, again, was a lead. I wouldn't have known her otherwise. But sometimes we kind of shy away from signing people as discount coaches because we have this like icky stigma that they're just a discount coach. Just a discount coach can become a builder, and you never know. I mean, you just never know. People can tell you all day long they're not going to coach, and then all of a sudden 4 years later they're going to be hosting team call talking to you about how they weren't going to coach. So carryover volume really, really, really matters. And one thing I want to mention with carryover volume, if you fall inactive, that wipes away. So let's just say right now Danielle were to pause her shake order and she didn't have at least, as an emerald, you have to have 50 PV. If she didn't have at least 50 PV, all of that would go away, which legit would make me sick to my stomach for her. Because just another example, at one point in my business, I had, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was like 47,000 or something, 50,000. And I didn't fall inactive. And my rollover volume now is literally like, I don't know, 88 on one side and 120 on one. Like I have zero rollover volume because I've started building my legs and I've started capping it out. So that's not there. So I'm cycling that many times and it's getting used. So it's not like you I don't want you to look at these numbers and think, okay, well, that's great, but it's just money sitting there. It's money sitting there waiting on you to be used, and it is very possible to be used. So when Danielle starts getting a little bit more volume on her right side, that's just money sitting there waiting to get paid out on. Ways to reach emerald. This is truly the easiest, should be the easiest. Oh, wait, I wanted to go back here one more time because I wanted to talk about, again, that coach versus customer. Let's just say that, the $6,832 that she has sitting here, if she were not to be an emerald coach, first of all, that would never have accumulated. So because I'm a dork and I like numbers, I started breaking down how she could make that money as just retail commission. So she doesn't sign any discount coaches. She just stays a coach forever and makes retail commission. If she were to stay a coach forever, in order for her to make $6,332, that would be 333 Shakeology orders. I mean, if you guys are selling that many Shakeology orders, you're doing something way better than me because I'm not. But that basically breaks down to 27 people a month ordering Shakeology is what you would have to do to be equivalent to that volume. And I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say nobody in here is getting 27 people a month to buy Shakeology. And so, again, this is where it's really, really important that you can't think about it as one customer versus one coach. You've got to think of it as your entire downline is helping you build that volume. So ways to reach emerald. This is a screenshot of my top 2 coaches. Now, there actually are a few people above Ford because when I first started, I didn't know any better. Jessica and I were winging it and figuring it out as we went. So I actually didn't sign Ford right away. But Brittany Garrett, one of my friends, is the very top coach on my left side, and Ford's the first personally sponsored coach I have on my right side. But ways for you to go active, it really doesn't have to be an icky thing. So a lot of you are like, oh my God, I have to find customers. There's no way I'm going to be, finding somebody that wants to work the business. like I said, never discount a discount. They don't have to start working the business right away. This could be someone that you just want to offer the discount to. So it could be your mom, your sister, your friend. I feel like a lot of times too, people overcomplicate this and think that, I'm brand new at this, or maybe you're not brand new. Maybe you've been doing it for a while, but you just feel like you're not at your goal weight, or people aren't going to look at you as a coach. People are never going to look at you as a coach if you don't act like a coach. Y'all know I like to fake it till you make it. But people aren't going to join you unless you kind of take on that leader role. So if you don't have to be at a perfect weight. You don't have to be a top 10 coach. These are just, when you're first getting started, these are people in your warm market that love you and they want to help you. So think of it more as like inviting a friend to do it with you, not as you coaching them. And it could be super, nonchalant to your best friend. Like, girl, I'm doing this new thing and I really want your help and I want you to do it with me. And 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to tell you yes. If they're anything like my family, they're probably going to crack jokes on you first, but they'll eventually join you when they realize that you're serious. So really, really, truly don't overcomplicate it. Your first 2 coaches are more than likely going to be people very, very, very close to you. I know my Jessica's first 2 coaches were me and my mom. My mom has been a coach just as long. Actually, mom was a coach before me because I refused to become a coach. So Vivi has been a coach way longer than I have. Benefits of spouse account. So this is where I kind of start getting into, I know, like I told you guys in the beginning, I kind of geared this towards like brand new coaches and some of our coaches that have been around for a little bit. So like I had mentioned, if your spouse is one of your, first coaches, I do recommend holding off on signing your spouse until you have at least one other person. That way your spouse isn't just sitting there for no reason. Wait until you've got one person ready to go, and then you can sign your spouse, because your spouse is an account that you're basically in control of. So it's not like you have, just you're sitting there trying to keep him active, paying for stuff. But you're going to make money. Reasons to sign your spouse. Like when I signed Forward Up, it was February of 2015, so it was years ago. But I still remember I bought the 21-Day Fix Extreme Challenge Pack. You're going to not only make Success Club points off of them, depending on what you get, you're also going to make commission. So when I signed Forward Up, that 21-Day Fix was $140. It was the special that month. So I made $40 back off of it. So it only cost me $100 to sign him up. And I ended up buying the Shakeology packets and I sold the whole box. So I basically made money to sign Forward Up. The reason you're going to want to get your spouse there is because, again, it helps you advance in rank, and then it can help you hold your rank later down the road. Right now, I'm starting my 3-star qualification because I have Brittany and Shelly on one side that are diamond coaches. And so Forward's going to help me hold that rank on my right side. Like I said, this is an account that you basically you're in full control of. So when you are, a coach and you're trying to hold your rank, it's not like you're waiting on Sally down the street to order her shakes to go back active. This is your spouse. You could sit on there and order whatever you wanted to underneath them. And then the main reason is because you start double dipping. So again, think back to that little pyramid that I had in the beginning. You're at the very tippy top, and now your spouse is underneath you. And now everybody else that just keeps falling below there, all of that volume starts accumulating. So this is a screenshot of Forward's last 5 checks that you guys can see. You can see the date, the payout, all of that. Forward only gets paid team cycle bonuses. I do not have any customers underneath Forward. He only has, I have coaches underneath him because I wanted him to advance in rank. And this is a perfect example of coach versus customer. If Forward had 0 coaches underneath him, he would have $0 because his account is built strictly off of coaches. Now you can see 425, I was an idiot and didn't pay attention, and I let him drop inactive. So not only did he not get his check because he didn't have any, he wasn't active, all of his carryover volume wiped away. So don't be like me and let him fall inactive. But you really want to get your spouse in there. Now I will say, when I first signed Forward Up, he sat there inactive for months and months and months because I wasn't ordering anything underneath Forward. I only drank Shakeology every month. But this was also in the days where there wasn't a whole lot of consumable product in Beachbody. There pretty much was, when I started coaching, it was pretty much Activit and Shakeology. I mean, now we have the entire performance line, bars, Daily Sunshine, Shakeology. They're coming out with a lot more consumable product. So on here where I mentioned extra orders, you want all of them to go through your spouse, because your spouse is going to get volume, which is going to roll up to you, and you're also going to get paid out on that. And again, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed if you're a brand new coach and this is way over your head. This is kind of for the coaches that have been around for a little bit, but just to also reiterate the fact that you do want your spouse in your account. And just a little example, April and I were chatting on the phone the other day, and she had ordered some bands and stuff for Everyday Obsession. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she ordered, I see, I wrote it down. She had 122 personal volume points from whatever it was that she ordered. It wasn't her shake. Her shake ships every single month. This was like an extra order she did. But she has her husband underneath her as a coach, but she ordered it underneath her account. Once you sign your spouse, anything extra needs to go through your spouse accounts, like Dan and Rochelle. If you get anything extra, it goes through Rochelle, because Rochelle's volume falls in your downline. So not only is she going to, not only are you getting the volume in their account, it's also rolling up to you and you're making money. So just an example, April didn't make any money off that, obviously, because it was a personal order. She ordered it. Had she put that through her husband, because she's an Emerald coach and because she's starting to get that carryover volume, she has 768 points on one side. Had she ordered that through her husband, it would have fell on the other side. It would have given her enough to cycle 3 times. So she would have made, as an Emerald coach, $42 off of her own order through her spouse. So again, like I said, I get super dorky when it comes to numbers, but to become an Emerald coach, you need 2 coaches, and one of them needs to be your spouse, because you want them high in your downline. Even if you sign them and you don't do anything with them right away, Ford sat there for over a year, and you can see his checks average about $100 a week. I did want to go back here to Ford's real quick. Another thing I wanted to mention, Ford's account, again, he's been a coach since 2015, didn't do crap with him for a long time, but his year-to-date earnings and just his account this year is at $6,800. $6,862 is what I've made in Ford's account, strictly off team cycle bonuses. And it's not because Ford has a lot of coaches. Ford has he has 5 coaches on both sides, because I've built him to diamond. But it's because he's got me helping build one side, and then the coaches I've put underneath him are starting to add coaches. And so all of that volume really, really, really builds up, guys. So in the beginning, when I mentioned $14, you think $14, or even 18. If you're diamond, you still think $18 is not that much money. Since January, Ford's account has made almost $7,000. So just to kind of put into perspective, and the reason I'm using Ford as an example is because I don't want you guys to think, oh, well, it's your account and you've been a coach for 4 years. This is my husband's account that I have control over. And the way I keep him active now is I order Energize and anything extra I want. They're bars, whatever else I want. And then I had mentioned that your spouse account is a controlled account. So again, to throw all these numbers at you guys, my year-to-date earnings so far between both of my CBCs and Ford is $18,797. So I'm almost at $19,000, and it's mid-May. So that's an average of $4,000 a month, all because I started at Emerald. Like, you have to become Emerald for any of this to even be possible, because you're never going to start making those team cycle bonuses. So when we say you should go Emerald ASA freaking P, it's because you want that volume to start collecting, even if you're like Danielle Buffy or Brittany Hines and it's sitting there for a while. Eventually, you're going to start building your legs, and you're going to get paid out on that, like I did. Like I said, I had like 50,000 at one point, and I started working it, and now I have no rollover volume. So before we get cut off, I do want to leave a little bit of room for questions. If anybody has any questions, I am going to post a little call to action in the team page for what we've got coming up. We're going to do like a little U+2 push, and then I have some call to actions from the actual call. But did anybody have any questions? Did you want to unmute yourself and ask them, or post them in the chat box and we can talk about them? I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share so I can see all your faces. Amanda and Taylor, if you're new and you're on the call, do not let your mind be blown by some of that. It just really, it starts with becoming Emerald. Like, it really, that's got to be your first step. I wouldn't be at $19,000 today if I didn't start with Emerald, because the majority, like you saw from my paycheck, I mean, I would have owed them $32 this week. And instead I made like $300 in that one account. And now I'm getting paid out in 3 because I'm getting paid out in my first account, Ford's account, and my second CBC. But it all started with Emerald. So we've got about 5 minutes left before this cuts us off. So does anybody, even if you've been a coach for a while, oh, Brandy's even on. Hey. Anybody have any questions? Or Britt, did you have anything you wanted to add to it? Jess? Shelly?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like whenever I hit Emerald, like in my mind, something clicked and it was like, oh, like now I'm a legit coach. Like now I can actually do these things. So it's even just like a mindset thing. Like whenever you get like a card in the mail from Beachbody saying you're Emerald, and then like, you know, your coach is shouting you out, and it's just, I don't know, that like recognition piece just really sets something off in your mind where you feel like, okay, now I can be a leader. Like now I can lead a team because you hit that first milestone. And like Jody said, like that is your first milestone. I mean, yes, you signed up as a coach, woohoo, but the very first thing is like getting to Emerald before you can get to Diamond and Star Diamond and to be $1 million earner. They all started by hitting Emerald. So that was just like a really big piece for me.
Yeah. Anybody else? Jess, did you have anything? I'm going to write some of these questions down from the chat box so I can address these if we, in the team page if we run out of time. But Jess, did you want to add anything?
I mean, I guess my number one, just, it wouldn't be anything I need to add because you were very thorough and did a good job as you always do. But I went Emerald within my first couple days. I don't even know that it wasn't even a week. And I don't say that to boast or whatever. I'm just saying to tell you guys, it's so simple. Like it is not a difficult thing to do. I think some people, you overthink it sometimes, like, and I think you clam up and you get scared because it's new and maybe something you're not used to doing. And it's just that fear of someone telling you no. But that's why it's really good, Emerald, just to start with people that you know, that you're comfortable with, like your sister and mom and a really good friend. And it's like, hey, I am doing this new thing and I just need you to support me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. All I know is that if you help me out and you hate it, you can get a full refund. They can get a refund. And if it's people you know that you're serious about building a business, like your mom is going to help you. And your mom needs Shakeology. So that's an easy sell. I don't know. Your grandmother can help you, right, Brittany? Like somebody in your family is like, I love this girl or this guy. And if this means this much to them, I'm going to support them. They need to get healthy. This business is for everybody. And so why wouldn't you offer them the discount? So in our 5-step invitation process, which everyone has access to, I know we're redoing the training. So we'll put it back in there tomorrow. But I have it mapped out, guys, when you're walking through talking to people, and if you're getting a whole bunch of no's, it's because you're not following a process. And so don't think once you get through all that and they say, yeah, I want to do it, that's a really great time to say, okay, well, I can either sign you up as a customer or a preferred customer. It doesn't matter to me. I say my mom has been a preferred customer now for 4 years, and that just means she keeps the 25%. Instead of paying me 25%, she keeps that and saves that on her Shakeology every month. So it's only $99 a month versus $129. It doesn't matter to me if you do it or not. I just want to offer it to you. Is that something you're interested in? I very rarely have somebody tell me no. Like, who doesn't want to save some money? So I guess it's a long way to say there's a method to asking people after they're ready to get going, or you can approach your family and friends, people that you trust. But I don't like to say family and friends because we're not in the business of like nagging our family and friends. But like, go to people, let them know you're serious about building a business. Tell them what you have to offer by following the 5-step invitation process, and then say, do you want a discount? And they're going to say yes. And then all you need is two people to say yes, and you're an Emerald coach. And that you should be hitting Success Club 5 or 10 every month anyway. So you should be able to hit that by the end of this month. So don't forget, don't say you want to be Emerald 6 months from now or by the end of the year. You want to be Emerald by the end of May. Like, you want to be Emerald by the end of May. Like, it's completely doable.
Yeah. And like I said, we're going to do a U+2 little push. And I'll post in the team page for any of you that want to join that. Strictly, if you want to, great. If you don't, don't. It's going to be super informal, where we're going to be in a message pod together, and we're going to give, just a call to action each day of like what you're going to do each day. But this is going to cut us off in less than 1 minute. Is there any other questions that anybody had that wanted to chat? No, there can be anyone. Yes, they do not ever have to sell. Correct.
Yeah, so like my mom she's been a discount coach since I started. Like, she was my very first coach, and she's never sold a single thing. So it's a really good idea for you to get a super close family member or your spouse signed up first, and that's for long-term reasons. So think about that.
Yeah. All right, so we're about to get cut off, but thank you guys for coming, and I'll post the call to action in the team page. Bye, guys.